at Cal State LA. I work with all students or prospective students that are interested in one of our programs or several of our programs at the College of Education. So we work with everybody that is looking to apply at the undergraduate and the graduate level. So I want to first off welcome all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to come and listen to our conversation about credentialing. As I'm going through the presentation, if you all have questions, please go ahead and add them to the chat. I will answer them as we're going through the presentation. And for now, what I would like is to see where we're all coming from, what when you expect to transfer, and what credential you're looking to pursue. That will definitely help us out with the conversation that we're having today, because everybody may be at different stages in their program. So just go ahead and share that in the chat. Let me go ahead and should be sharing my screen now, making sure that I am. All right. So I work at Cal State LA. I work with, like I said, the College of Education. There are several programs within Cal State LA, and I am checking the chat as you are listing what program you're looking to pursue. Again, that would definitely help us out to know where everyone's at. Oh, preschool teacher, awesome. So that is definitely a kind of a different credential type of license that you would be needing. Kindergarten, awesome. That would, right now, it is a multiple subject credential. Elementary, that's K-8, that's typically a multiple subject credential. TK, okay, awesome. P3 specific, okay. Yeah, that new credential, the P3 or the TK third, is coming soon. It's not on just yet. It's not in play just yet, but it is coming. See a lot of elementary school teachers. Awesome. ECE, eventually PK third. Awesome. Great, great, great. Like, I love to see this. So at the College of Education, we have many different programs that support students in the education field that are looking to teach, that are looking to go into anything related to education. We do also have an EDD program and a PhD program. So in the future, if you wanted to go into leadership, definitely start considering those program options as well. As far as teaching goes, we do have a lot of people that are looking to go into teaching. As far as teaching goes, what degree, and you can unmute, it's going to be an easier one. What degree do you think you need to become an elementary school teacher? I see a lot of elementary, so let's start there. What degree do you think you need to become an elementary school teacher?
The liberal arts.
Liberal arts is one of them. It's one option. Anyone else? All right, so just a quick little note there. If you want to become a teacher, any degree counts. It doesn't have to be one specific degree. You still need to complete certain majors, or rather certain requirements for the credential or for the license for teaching. But certain programs or certain majors can help you prepare and waive out of certain exams. Liberal studies is one of them, like Guadalupe mentioned. At Cal State LA, we have several different colleges or departments where you can go in for specific majors or specific disciplines. For instance, arts and letters has art, communication, English, liberal studies, modern languages, literature, theater. Business and economics has accounting, economics, finance. And you'll notice the different programs, right? Different schools. The College of Education has applied and advanced studies, curriculum and instruction, special ed, urban learning, urban learning, and basically any teaching credential is in the College of Education. Now, All programs are valid, like I said, to become a teacher. The only difference is the type of preparation that you're getting with a teacher preparation program is going to be different. So if you're looking to teach, there are 6 colleges that support students that are looking to become teachers. Most of them are obviously going to be a single subject. So if you wanted to become like a chemistry teacher or a biology teacher, you would fall in the College of Natural and Social Sciences. That major is going to prepare you with the content that you're going to teach. Now, to become a teacher, though, you would come to the College of Education to get your teaching credential. There are several integrated programs at Cal State LA that can support your academic needs. There are, for instance, in the College of Education, we have Urban Learning. Urban Learning is our teaching preparation program for those that want to become elementary teachers, multiple subject, or special education teachers. There are also liberal studies, Chicana studies, and child development that also prepare students that want to become elementary school teachers. Now, I'm going to start with child development. And I see a lot of students that are looking to become TK teachers or want to be at the K third level. If you wanted to become a TK teacher, definitely consider going into the child development major. It is child-centered. It focuses on the development and growth of children. Typically, though, this program has 2 options. One is a general option, which means it's just you have a lot of different electives that you can choose from. And then they have a teacher preparation option, which isn't always available to transfer students because there is a lot of units that you wouldn't always have at the undergraduate level, or rather at the community college level. So not everybody that transfers would be eligible for the teacher preparation path in child development. However, if you're looking to be a TK third teacher, definitely consider going into child development because you are going to need that kind of support to go into to teach in that grade level. Now, we also have the BA in Liberal Studies, and Guadalupe mentioned the BA in Liberal, she said liberal arts. It's not liberal arts, it's liberal studies. It is an interdisciplinary major. It derives from different disciplines. So it pulls from philosophy, it pulls from science. So it pulls from all these different disciplines to give you a broad overview of education. This major has 3 different options. It has the general option, which is, again, a very, very broad. And then they have the teacher preparation option in elementary education, meaning that you can teach in the multiple subject setting, and they have the teacher preparation in special education as well. Within these 2 options, elementary and special education, they have an option where you can start the credential program as an undergrad or complete the credential program as an undergraduate student. They do have those options as well. Now we have a Chicano studies as well that covers, that has teacher preparation paths as well. This is an interdisciplinary program that pulls from literature, social science, education, politics, pop culture, social media, immigration, public health, social policy, social justice, and all of these different disciplines, how these different disciplines impact the Chicano experience or Latino experience in the community. They do also have 3 different options. One is a general option, which is just Chicano studies in the general sense, but they also have a teacher preparation path. Traditional meaning that you would start the credential as an undergraduate, but finish it after you finish your bachelor's degree. You come back to complete the credential after your bachelor's degree. They also have an integrated path where you can complete both both the Chicano studies program and the credential at the same time. And our last but not least, which is what we will be focusing on today, is the BA in Urban Learning. This is an interdisciplinary family and community-centered program that focuses on education policy and urban communities. We have 4 different options. We have the teacher preparation option in elementary education, the teacher preparation option in education specialist option, and then the teacher preparation in the dual credential. So meaning that you can earn both multiple subject and a special education credential. It's the only one, this is the only option that has that dual credential option. And they also have a degree only option, which is teaching and learning. Now, when you're applying, if you're applying to Cal State LA this semester, you definitely want to select the option for the credential option that you're looking to pursue, whether it is elementary education, multiple subject, meaning multiple subject, or education specialist credential, or the dual credential. So you want to apply to one of those 3. Teaching and learning is a final alternative if you decided not to teach, but you still want to stay in the education field, or other reasons that people would fall under that teaching and learning option. So you definitely want to select, when you're applying, select the correct option. The College of Ed, we have several different programs. Again, we are the college that will, we're the college that sponsors for the credential program. So anyone that is going into a teaching credential program at the College of Ed, at Cal State LA would go through the College of Education. So we offer multiple subject, single subject education specialist credential, and we also have different certificates and authorizations. So for instance, if we have someone here that is bilingual and wants to earn a bilingual authorization, so you can teach in a dual immersion setting, you can earn that bilingual authorization as well. We have several different options for masters in education, several options for masters in special education, masters in educational technology. We actually have 2 options. And if in the future you wanted to become a principal, we also have the Masters in Educational Administration. Now, we do work with people that are looking to become teachers, preschool through high school, special education teachers, reading specialists, school counselors, school psychologists, rehab counselors, administrators, researchers, and instructional technology specialists. So we have a large array of educators within different fields that go through our programs. Now, like I said, I will be focusing on the Bachelor of Arts in Urban Learning. Most of you said that you want to become teachers at the elementary school level. So this is going to be the program that I would recommend for you all, because it does prepare future educators. We focus a lot on education. That's the main focus of the program. Education policy, social justice and equity within education, and really with a lens in urban communities. So we live in LA. In LA, it is very much an urban community, and if you want to be better prepared to teach these students, this would be a really good option for you all. Our biggest motto is to give back by going back. So what that means is we want you to prepare as an educational leader to go back to the community where you came from and support the students that can reflect themselves on you, that you can help them understand the importance of education and really just support them in with the understanding of what they would be experiencing in that community. We do work on a cohort model. So typically students will be taking about 2 to 3 classes per semester. Everybody would be really taking the same classes. It's about 2 or 3 classes that you would be taking together. Very much like a homeroom model. So if you remember high school, you typically had 1 class where you would have the same students every semester or every year. It's basically the same thing with our cohort model. You would be taking the same class or classes as your peers almost every semester. We do also have a student organization called ULSA, and they do support and network with each other to provide the better support or stronger community within the college, within the program. Now, I mentioned the 4 options for the Bachelor of Arts in Urban Learning. One of them is a teacher preparation in elementary education or multiple subject. This prepares you to become an elementary school teacher. So if you want to teach at the K-8 level, this is a really good option. Now, one quick little side note, we are piloting another option within this option here, where if you wanted to earn your bilingual authorization, I mentioned this earlier already, but if you were bilingual in Spanish and you wanted to earn your bilingual authorization along with your degree, there are ways to do that as well. And this is the teacher preparation option in elementary education. Typically, that would be considered option 1. Then we have the teacher preparation option for education specialists. This is for those that want to become education specialist teachers. You want to work with children with special needs. The nice thing about earning an ed specialist credential is that you can typically work with kids from kindergarten through high school. So the ed specialist credential is a broad spectrum, and you can work in any grade level. Then we have the dual credential, which I would highly encourage students to pursue. If you wanted to teach, if you don't know which option to decide for, whether it's elementary or special education, this option is the best path for you. It doesn't take any more time. It takes the same amount of time as it would to complete a multiple subject credential with your degree or an ed specialist credential. The only difference is for this dual credential, you do student teaching for 2 semesters, so that's the only difference. But the coursework, the content takes the same amount of time. And this is a really good option, especially because now there is so much need for teachers that you basically have the opportunity to teach in a mainstream class or an ed specialist setting. And then, like I said, the general option, this is the degree only option, teaching and learning. With teaching and learning, again, it's not because this option is really for those that want to become or work in the education field, but maybe are not ready to do the credential, or they want to do something else before going into the teaching credential option. So this is the teaching and learning option. I'm actually going to pause here. I want to take questions before I continue. Does anyone have questions, I should say?
I have a question.
Lori, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lori Hamilton.
Lori.
Interested in becoming an elementary teacher, possibly / special needs, special ed teacher as well. You were mentioning just a second ago, you said part of the dual credential. The last thing you said, student teaching for 2 semesters. You said with the option or doing also mainstreaming and also in an ed setting, a special ed setting. Is that what you said?
The dual credential, with the dual credential, you are pursuing both a multiple subject and a special education credential. So you would complete both credentials at the same time along with your degree. It does not take any more time. Usually with integrated programs, and there's going to be generally, like in most places that you are looking to apply to, it's usually going to take between 2.5 and 3 years to finish a degree with a credential at the same time. It's going to take the same amount of time with this dual credential, and that's option 3, which I will go ahead and highlight here. It takes the same amount of time for this particular option. The only difference, I did mention this, it's at 2 semesters of student teaching, because you student teach for multiple subject and for the special ed setting. So you have to do student teaching for both settings. Does that clarify, Lori?
I think so, because you said something with mainstreaming.
A mainstream class, meaning like a general education setting. That's what a mainstream class is.
Okay, that's what you meant. Okay, I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a great question. Thank you for that, Lori. I'm going to continue, but if you all have questions, please feel free to stop me and I'll be sure to answer. For education specialists, if you want to become a special ed teacher, there are different sub-sections or options, like early childhood special education. I did see a lot of TK and pre-K teachers. If you want to work as an intervention teacher at the ed specialist setting, there is an early childhood special education credential. And this credential allows you to work with kids from 0 to 5 years of age. Typically, like I said, this is early intervention for all disabilities, including autism. So there are all kinds of supports that you can provide these kids that you can that can support their academic and developmental needs. There is a mild to moderate support needs credential, which allows you to work in a K through 12th grade setting. Usually the students in this setting can range up to 22 years of age. And this is typically learning disabilities, intellectual disabilities, autism, ADD, ADHD, emotional disturbances, etc., at the mild to moderate level. And then there's an extensive support needs credential, which again, K through 12, up to 22 years of age. Moderate to severe intellectual disabilities, autism, moderate to severe emotional disturbances, multiple disabilities that need more extensive support. And that's what the title of the credential really means. And we also have, and we are actually one of the few schools that offers the visual impairments credential. And this credential, you can work from birth to 12th grade, and this is working with students who are visually impaired, blind, or deafblind. As a matter of fact, if you attend Cal State LA or if you come by Cal State LA at any point, you'll likely be seeing some of our students practicing their navigation skills with their canes around campus. Because as a VI teacher, visual impairment teacher, you would be supporting students with this need, basically. Now, this is a typical timeline for students that are going into a credential or an integrated program. You're all completing the first 2 years of school at community college. Okay, that's your lower division requirements, lower division GEs. And then you, once you've finished the 2 years of coursework at community college, 60 units typically, you would, Roxana, counseling is different. That's a totally different program. But I can talk about it in a minute. I'll share about that in a minute. Now, again, if you transfer, you're going to finish all of your lower division requirements right now. That's what you're doing at community college, 60 units, lower division requirements. You transfer and you would start year 3, basically junior year, okay? You would start taking degree coursework, some CSET waiver courses, and you would also apply to the credential program, so you can take credential classes. This is with urban learning. Other ITEP programs will be slightly different, okay? But with urban learning specifically, we focus on getting you into the credential program as early as possible so that you can mix and match your credential and your degree courses at the same time. The second semester of the credential program, you would take the prerequisite courses for the credential. And then the year 4, you basically will be focusing more on credential classes and finishing maybe 1 or 2 degree courses. By year 5, typically it's only 1 semester usually for student teaching. That's a typical case. Student teaching is the last semester. And you likely wouldn't have any other coursework along with it. If anything, you probably will take one extra class along with student teaching. This is a general roadmap. It does not mean that you are going that we're going to make you fit into this diagram. Everybody's slightly different. So maybe some of you may take a little bit less time. Some of you may take a little bit more time. So maybe taking classes over the summer. So that's going to change this diagram a little bit more too. But this is a general idea of what it looks like for students in the urban learning program or in a teacher preparation program. Roxana, before I move forward from this slide, I do want to share one quick thing about your, if you wanted to become a counselor, that would be a master's in counseling. So that's not necessarily a teaching credential. You don't necessarily need to teach to become a counselor. That is a slightly different pathway. And we can talk about it if you want to stick around afterwards a little bit. Is there a bilingual certification? There is. You can. So the bilingual authorization, that's a really good question, Teresa. The bilingual authorization, you can pursue it with any credential. There's no specific dual immersion setting for special ed and specifically, but you can get the authorization and add it to your credential. Usually for that, if you're looking to get the bilingual authorization, it's ideal that you get it with the multiple subject option, but you can certainly add it to special ed. That would not be. All right.
And it can only be attained with the credential.
The authorization, yeah, you can't.
The
it's not a
bilingual?
standalone credential. The bilingual authorization is not a standalone credential. You have
Okay.
to attach it. Whenever you hear authorization, this is actually a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Guadalupe. Any credential, anything that you hear, when you hear credential, it's basically a standalone option. When you hear authorization, it means that it's going to be attached to a credential. You have to have a credential to attach it to. This is being recorded, and the CTE team will be sending it to you all. I think it's also going to be uploaded to the website. As far as the credential or requirements to transfer, this is a general idea for transferring, okay? This is more general information for transferring. You do need to have at least 60 units of transferable units. You need to have completed your college level English composition, oral communication, critical thinking, and quantitative reasoning requirements. You also would need a 2.0 GPA to transfer and good academic standing at Rio Hondo. These are all requirements for basically every CSU that you're going to apply to. For urban learning specifically, these are the courses that we would be looking. This is college Cal State LA specific courses, but we also have the I'll show you the Rio Hondo courses in a minute. We do need a minimum of a 2.4. Typically, it should be 2.5, but 2.4 to transfer, the AA to transfer, or the GEs, like all of the GEs to transfer. You need to have your written communication, oral communication, quantitative reasoning, general biology, and then you should have at least one of the world history or US history. And then in addition to that, it's encouraged that you have the literature course, which is, I can't remember the exact number. There is a literature course that we encourage you all to have, child development, which I think you all have, and then history, California or US history. History, what's equivalent here, this is 2010. You can also find those class numbers at on assist.org. So if you can't find them in the list that I'm going through next, you can go through assist.org to find those specific classes. Now, these are the classes that you should be taking at Rio Hondo: English 101, English 201, or Speech 140, Math 140, and Biology 101. These at least should be taken at least with a C or better, at least one of them. English, History 101, History 102, and then additional recommended courses would be your English classes. That's the literature class, which I need to change the number for. Child Development 106, History 101, 102, and 143. These are encouraged at recommended classes. They're not necessarily required unless they are part of your GEs. And then, by the way, just a show of hands, how many of you know about the exam requirements for the credential? Or even better.
I'm sorry, repeat that again, please. What type of?
The exam requirements. Florecita, thank you. The exam requirements for the credential. On a scale of let's say 1 to 5, type in a number in the chat. How well do you think you know the exam requirements for the credential? 2, 1, okay, that's coming in, great. It's okay if you're at a 0. That's actually really good. I mean, it's good that you are aware of this, that you don't know any of these exam requirements. To become a teacher, there are several requirements, including a something called basic skills exam, basic skills requirement. The other one is a subject matter competency or CSET. And then there are other additional requirements, which I'm not going to get into yet, not until you're in the credential program, because it's too much information to take at once. But we're going to focus on the basic skills and the subject matter. And it's okay, like I said, I know most of you probably don't know very much about the exam requirements, which is totally fair, okay? That's why you are going through a program to help you with this information. I mentioned the two exams, basic skills and subject matters, or CBEST and CSET. Guadalupe, did you have a question?
Yes. Do the requirements change for each Cal State, or are they all the same?
Exam requirements are going to be the same for every Cal State. Okay, this is actually,
As far, yeah.
I'm going to bring that up very quickly.
Oh, okay.
The credential, it's important for you all to know that the credential is a state license, okay? The state issues a credential. The degree is what you earn at the university level. The coursework for the credential is through a program sponsor. So Cal State LA, for instance, is a program sponsor. The requirements, the standards that you need to know, the exams that you need to have, those are all going to be the same across the board. They are all going to be required because they are state mandated requirements. So as far as the CBEST, the CSET, the RECA, the TPAs, all of that will be something that the state is requiring. And so as a program sponsor, Cal State LA, we're going to tell you, you need to take these tests or you need to meet these requirements because the state is asking them for you, asking for them in order for you to get your credential. So hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm happy to clarify, but that is really how it works. The credential is something that the state will issue. Yeah, so the state issues the credential. The university issues the degree. The university is also a program sponsor, so we provide the support. We collect all of the requirements for the state. And then as a program sponsor, we send all of that information to the state. So they will issue the credential at the end. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if it makes sense. Yeah, so there's going to be another, a few other workshops. Okay, great. Guadalupe gave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go with her answer. There are different ways that you can meet basic skills and subject matter. Yes, so that's one of the workshops that's coming up for you all. As far as, and I'm going to talk about the different exams that are covered, or the two exams that I mentioned today for Cal State LA specifically, okay? So with Cal State LA, if you, the basic skills, let's start with the CBEST, basic skills. If you have, and this is per state requirement, okay? If the state tells us you can meet this exam with this requirement, then we can go with it. We are not making the rules here. This is the state requirement, okay? So for CBEST, the basic skills requirement, if you get a B or better in college level reading, writing, and math, you can waive out of the CBEST. So that for you guys, that includes English 101. I think, and I may have missed that class number. Let me just double check here. English 101, English 201. So English 101 covers the writing requirement. English 201 covers the reading requirement, or even the other one here. Speech 140 also covers the reading or critical thinking requirement. And then math 140 or statistics, if you're taking statistics, that will cover the math CBEST. So the basic skills, if you have a B or better in those three classes that I mentioned, then you don't have to take the CBEST. For the CSET or subject matter, if you're going for multiple subject, if you choose any of our interdisciplinary degrees like urban learning, any option, liberal studies, any option, child development, option 2, and Chicano studies, options 2 or 3, those 4 majors can waive you out of the CSET for multiple subjects. This is to teach in an elementary school setting. So if you're looking to teach elementary, those 4 degrees are what you would be looking for. Again, I'm gonna be biased and say go with urban learning because you're already gonna be part of the College of Education. So a lot of this information will be firsthand. Instead of going for liberal studies, for instance, which you're gonna be in a different college, and then you would come to us within about a year or 2 after, or usually about a year after you're at Cal State LA. If you're going for a single subject, these different degrees also cover the subject matter competency. So if you wanted to become a dance teacher, if you have a dance degree, that covers your the CSET. If you want to be an English teacher, the English degree will cover the subject matter for English. So those are the different types of, like, those are the one of the ways that you can waive out of the CSET and the CBEST. And I think we probably will have more questions about this, so I can pause here before we go on to the last part of the presentation.
Our speech 101 and speech 140, I think you said, is it the same?
No, that speech 140 is argumentation.
Okay.
You're likely going to be taking English 201. That's probably the class that you're all taking for the critical thinking requirement. Florecita?
So I've been hearing that the state's exams change. They change the rules every year. So this is a rule for this year, or am
Not every year. They don't change every year. They don't change every year. They change every few years, yes, but they don't change every year.
Got it.
If there are any updates, they always will be posted on the commission website, CTC. But right now, the reason why we have these different ways to meet basic skills and subject matter is partly because of COVID. There have been a lot of, there's a huge teacher shortage. So to ease the way for you all to earn the CSET or to become teachers, they have made these different exemptions. The subject matter has always been implemented. There's always been different ways to earn subject matter. Typically, it's through the degree or a subject matter program, subject matter waiver program, which is, if you were to apply with us, that's what you would be applying for with urban learning, any of the majors basically that I listed here. The interdisciplinary programs for multiple subjects, those will cover the CSET. CSET. What is the cost for the exams? The CBEST basic skills requirement, typically it ranges between $40 and $120, I believe. For the CSET, it's between $100 and $300. So it'll range, like the fees will range for those exams. Now, again, if you follow these complete these requirements, like with English 101, I need to change that number because I'm going to keep getting confused. English 101 or English 201 and Math 140. If you have a B or better in those classes, you've already met CBEST requirements. So you wouldn't need to take the exam. If you follow a subject matter program like urban learning for multiple subjects and you want to be an elementary school teacher, then you've already met subject matter by pursuing that degree. I think that is, hold on a minute. Let me go back here. I think I saw something coming in. Yep. All right. So we're going to go last. This is the last thing, and then we're pretty much free to go. I always want to emphasize that you should always be thinking about like what's going to happen beyond the bachelor's degree. It's never, ever, ever too early to start thinking about what you plan on doing after you graduate, whether it is graduate school, whether it is adding different credentials, adding different authorizations, becoming a principal. All of these different things that you can start thinking of right now can help you to start preparing for that in the future. So one of the things that you want to think about is, what are your career goals? Outside of teaching, are you thinking about doing something else? If you're not thinking about doing anything outside of teaching, are you thinking about teaching different populations? You also want to start thinking about what you want to be an expert in. If you're thinking about going back for grad school to get a master's degree, what do you want to learn about? What do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on technology, bilingual education, ESL? Do you want to focus on curriculum design? All of these different paths can definitely help you kind of start preparing early on. As you're going through school, this is a long ways away for you all, but it's still always good to start thinking about that. I did mention this already, like the population that you want to work with. Are you looking to work in, if you're looking to work in an education specialist setting, that's one specific credential. If you want to work in a multiple subject setting, that's a different credential. If you want to teach in a bilingual setting, that is an added authorization. So that's additional requirements, which is not a lot, but we can definitely touch on that in the future if you are looking to pursue that path as well. Now, if you're looking to work in higher education, is anyone here looking to teach at the college level? Is anyone thinking about higher, nobody's thinking about higher education? In the future, if you are thinking about higher education, you definitely will need a master's degree. So that's another thing to start thinking about. Jessica's thinking about eventually. Cool. Yeah, if you are thinking about teaching in higher ed, definitely start looking into master's programs. And if you're looking to teach in a specific department, like let's say the English department, then a master's in English would be a really good path to explore. And finally, my contact information is here. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or yeah, to teach at the community college, you're going to need a master's degree. Please feel free to take my contact information here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now, and I'll add my contact information in the chat, and we can open it up to questions.